everyone, it's Olivia from Girlybunches, and in this week's video I'm going to be showing you how to make this little Christmas tree. If you saw my previous video where I did the review of a craft magazine, you'll see that I got very inspired and started making my own designs and patterns, and this is what I came up with, and I'm going to show you how I made it. So there is a pattern available in the description box down below, and there'll be a link up here as well. Hopefully you'll be able to follow along, but if you did need the written instructions, they are available in my Etsy shop. Okay, so I will get on and show you how to make this cute little Christmas tree. Okay, so I've got some double knit yarn here, and I'm using a green. You could use obviously whatever colour you want. Whatever yarn you want to use, just make sure you're using the right sized hook. So I'm using double knit yarn and I'm using a 4mm hook. Okay, so I've started off with 16 chains, and you can start off with as many chains as you like, as long as it's an even number. So you could make yours smaller or wider, entirely up to you. And then what we're going to do is just going to start working double crochets into the second chain from the hook. So there's the first chain and there's the second. So I'm British and I use British terminology, so I call this a double, but you may know it as a single. And I'll put links in the description box to a video explaining the different terminology if you're not familiar with the different names. So there's our first double crochet, and then we're going to work all the way to the end. So I started off with 16 chains and I'm going to do 15 double crochets all the way to the end. So I will speed that up. And yeah, you're just going to work all the way to the other end, and then we'll carry on from there. Okay, so that's our first row done. Now we're going to chain one, turn the work, so now we're going to work along the back, and we're going to do one double crochet into that same space there, and then we're going to work all the way back, just doing one double crochet into all of those stitches again, so we'll still have 15 stitches. And I'll just speed up little bits just so that it's not completely boring for you. But you know, if you're new to crochet, just take this slowly. I do speed things up just because otherwise the video would take hours to watch. So just finishing this row of 15 double crochets. And if your work is doing this, that's fine. That's what happens when you work double crochets. That's what happens. Okay, so again, we're going to chain one and we're going to turn, and we're going to do one double crochet into that same space again, like that. Now we're going to start working the picot double crochet into the next stitch along, so into this stitch here. What we're going to do, and like I said, I've done a video about this before, so I'll put a link up here and in the description box down below, but I'm going to run through it with you here again. And what you do is you put your hook into the stitch, grab the yarn and pull a loop through. Then you're going to grab the yarn and you're going to do 3 chains. So there's 1 chain, 2 chains, 3 chains. And then you're going to do yarn over again, and this time you're going to put it through both of those 2 loops. So now you've got a double crochet and 3 chains, and now you just go and work a double crochet into the next stitch along. And if I turn that around, you'll see that bobble has appeared on the back, and that's where you want your bobbles to appear, on the back, not at the front. Okay, I'll do that again. So we've done the double crochet there, so I'm going to put the yarn, the hook into the yarn, into the work, grab the yarn, pull it through, so we've got a loop. Now I'm going to do 3 chains, so I'm just working that first loop on the hook, and there's my 3rd chain, and then the last one is to put the yarn over and put it through both of those 2 loops like that, and then into the next stitch a double crochet. And if I turn it around, you'll see we've got 2 bobbles now. Okay, so you're going to work that all the way across now, so every other one will be a picot double crochet. So the next one is a picot double crochet, 1, 2, 3, and then a double crochet. So keep going all the way to the end, and you should end on a double crochet. I've just got 2 more stitches at the end here, so I'm going to do my picot double crochet, 1, 2, 3, finish that off, and my last stitch is a double crochet, which is brilliant. There we go. So it looks normal from that side, and on the other side we've got our lovely little decorative stitches there. Okay, so for the next row, we're not going to chain one, we're just going to turn the work, and we're going to start working, I'll get that to focus, there we go, our double crochets into the next stitch along. So no doing chain one and then a double crochet into that end, because now what we need to do is start tapering the edges up. So we're just going to work 1 double crochet. So we're effectively reducing that stitch there, like that edge, by 1 stitch, and we need to do the same at the other end, and we're going to do 2 double crochets together at this end. So if this is 15 stitches along here, we now need to take 2 stitches away, that leaves us with 13. So there's 1, and we're going to do 1 double crochet now into each of those stitches, and stop before you get to the last 2. So don't work these last 2 stitches, so do all the double crochets all the way along, and then stop before you get to the last, just as you get to the last 2. So you may struggle a little bit about where to put the hook, but as you can see with the back of that picot there, that's where the hook goes in there, just to do your double crochet, and then you've got your double crochet from the previous round that you just put your hook into. Okay, so we've stopped at the last 2 stitches, so we've done a row of double crochets, and now what we're going to do is we're going to do 2 double crochets together. So that's a way of decreasing a row. So if you've not done this before, I've got an in-depth video yet again. Do check out the links I do put up here and in the description box down below. But what we're going to do is you put the hook into the stitch, grab the yarn, and don't finish that stitch, and then we're going to start working the next stitch. So put the hook into the work, grab the yarn, and now you've got 3 loops on your hook, and what you do is you grab the yarn one more time, and then put it through all 3 loops, and that has reduced that 2 stitches into 1. So if you count your stitches now, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 stitches, which is great, which is exactly what we need to have. Right, so now we're going to work the next row, and we're going to do 1 chain, turn, 1 chain into the same space, and then 1 chain all the way along, so you'll have 13, not 1 chain, 1 double crochet all the way along, so you'll have 13 at the end. So 1, 12, and then 1 more into that end stitch there, that's 13, and that's brilliant, that's exactly what you want. So if you look at it from behind, you can see that it's tapering up just lovely. So again, 1 chain, turn, and then 1 double crochet into the same space, and then 1 double crochet all the way to the end. Again, that will be 13 stitches. And then 1 more time, we're going to chain 1, turn, and this row again we're going to do our bobbles on. So 1 double crochet into the same space, and then every other stitch will be a picot double crochet. And then the next stitch along will be the double crochet to give the bobble. Okay, so repeat that all the way to the end, and I'll come back once I've got to the end. And here I have 2 more stitches to work, so I've got 1 more picot double crochet there and end on a double crochet. Okay, so if I turn it over now, we've got 2 lovely rows of those picot double crochets, making our tree look really festive and spiky. I just love this stitch so much. Okay, so once we've done a row of the bobbles, the picot double crochets, we're now going to decrease the row again by 1 stitch at either end. Exactly the same principle as previous time we did it. So just turn, don't do a chain and turn, just turn and do a double crochet into the next stitch along, and then keep doing double crochets until you get to the very last 2 stitches, which you then do 2 together. So if I just whiz across here now, just doing the double crochets into the stitches from the previous row. So do take your time, you know, do check where you're putting your hook. Make sure you're putting it into the right space. And then I'm just stopping before I get to my last 2 stitches, and where we're going to do 2 double crochets together, same as before. So now we've reduced each of this row of stitches by 2. So we had 13 and now we should have 11, so we're just going to count those. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Perfect. So you keep working this principle. So now you're going to go chain 1, turn and work double crochet, chain 1, turn, work double crochet, chain 1, do a double crochet into the same space like these 2 rows, and then start working your bobble row. So you've got a decrease, 1, 2 rows of just double crochet, and then the 4th row is your textured row, and you just keep repeating that method until you get this tapered tree look. Okay, so you've got a decreasing row, 2 rows of double crochet, and then your bobble row, a decreasing row, 2 rows of double crochet, and then your bobble row, a decreasing row, 2 rows of crochet, and then a bobble row. And as you can see, you keep reducing until you end up at the top. I'm going to come back and show you how to finish this off. Okay, so I've just done my decrease row after doing these 2 bobbles here. So I'm going to chain 1, turn, and do 1, 2, 3 chain, 3 double crochets. So I'm down to 3 stitches now. So chain 1, turn, and do again 3 double crochets. 1, 2. To go in, 3, and now I'm going to do my last row of bobbles, and it'll just be 1 bobble sitting in the middle there. So chain 1, turn, do a double crochet into the same space, do my picot double crochet, 2 picot double crochet into the next one, and then 1 double crochet into this one. So I've got my last 3, so now I'm just going to do my decreasing row. So I'm going to turn, and I'm going to do 2 double crochets together. So you put the hook in, get the yarn, hook into the next one, get the yarn, and then yarn over and finish off all of those 3 loops. And I'm going to cut my tail end and then pull that loop through, pull that tail end through that loop. And if you put it nice and tight, there you go, that knot won't come undone. And there is my finished tree part. So all I need to do now is put on the base part. Okay, so if you like to crochet, you're probably really into symmetry and getting things in the middle. If you're anything like me, then that's your life mission. Okay, so if I just turn this upside down, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bobbles, which is just lovely. So what you can do is you could choose to start your tree base at any point on here, but I'm going to use this third bobble in as a guide to go to this third bobble in from this side as a guide. So I'm going to put my hook into that stitch there with the tree upside down, and I'm going to grab my yarn that I'm going to use to do my trunk with, and then just pull that yarn through and then just do a little stitch on the top, and that has now secured that in. So you can now do a double crochet into that stitch there. That gives you your first double crochet, and then I'm just going to do my double crochets all the way along until I get to this third bobble in from the left. So one into here, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, there we go, 5 stitches from here to here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I'm just going to do chain 1 and turn, and then do a double crochet into the same space and just do 4 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just do as many rows as you like. I chose to do 4 on my tree previously, so I will just do that the same. You could do trebles here if you wanted to. It's, you know, entirely up to you, but I'm just showing you what I did. And 1 more row, so that's chain 1, turn, 1 double crochet into that same space. You could do this in half trebles as well. This would be quite a nice stitch to do that on here. And then that's it, that's all I'm going to do. So it gives you a nice little trunk there, and you just sew your ends in, or you don't really need to because we're going to stuff this. Again, that's optional. So I'm just going to cut my yarn and pull my tail end through that loop nice and tight, and that gives you a nice secure end. So look at that, how cute is that? So now we're going to sew it together with another one that I've made. I'm going to sew these two together with some stuffing in the middle. So you sew them with the backs together like so, and I'm just going to stuff the green part and just sew these two bits together as they are. I'm not going to bother to stuff them. Again, that's entirely up to you. Is I saved these ends here to sew up this bit here, and I use these ends here, I tie these off together and they make the bit to hang with. So I do get another piece of yarn to sew these together with. But I'm just going to start in this bottom corner here, just get this started. So I go from the inside out method. You could crochet these together, that would be nice. You could do a crab stitch that I've shown that before. That would give a nice edge, but I just like to do this going from the inside of one of the sides to the out, pulling that yarn through, and then going to the other side and going from the inside out. And I just work my way all the way around, and I will come back when I'm ready to stuff my tree. And I'm just going to stuff it now, and I've just got regular toy stuffing here, and I'm just going to take a little bit at a time and work that up into that point there. You don't want to overstuff it, but you know, nice little fat Christmas tree. You know, make sure you get right up into that point there with the stuffing, and yeah, so I'm just going to keep going here, stuffing my little tree. And as you can see, those seams do sort of blend in quite nicely, so you get a great edge there. I think that method of out, in, you know what I mean, does work quite well. So we're getting quite full up down here, so I'll open up the bottom a little bit more. These procedures are never delicate, are they? Right, I think that's probably just the right amount. Yeah, well, you could go on forever just trying to work out that, couldn't you? A little bit more, there we go. And now I'm just going to sew these trunk parts together and these edges. So that's literally just going to put those two together and sew those, and then sew these edges, and then the tree is going to be done. So I shall come back when I'm all sewn up and tidied up. And there we go, my final little tree with all the ends sewn in. And yeah, you could really go to town with this. You could change each row to make it a different colour. You could have, like, you know, to go in with your decorations. You know, really don't have to stick with green like I've done. Like I mentioned before, you could use a variegated yarn. That would give you an extra texture. You could sew little beads on, all that stuff, all that Christmas stuff you could do. And a nice touch would be, which I probably will do, but I don't have to hand now, I'll probably put like a gold bead at the top here just to kind of give it a little bit of glitz. But yeah, that's my little Christmas tree. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I have got a link to a pattern in the description box down below and up above. That will be in my Etsy shop, and anyone that does kindly buy it, that does support my channel and I really appreciate it. But yeah, written instructions are available for this tree, but hopefully you've followed along nicely with just kind of reducing the rows gently, making it a nice little tree shape. Okay, so I will see you in my next video. I hope you enjoyed this one. Give me a thumbs up if you did, and if you haven't, why not click on that subscribe button down below, and I would love it if you did. Okay, take care, bye.